What's up, Internet? This is Rambling Josh, and you're watching another episode of Let's Play Final Fantasy X. Today, I have switched versions of the game, and I am now playing the international version. This was the surprise that I've had in store. Maybe it's a little underwhelming for the viewer, but believe me, it was no small task. See that clock? Almost 115 hours of played time? Yeah, 115 hours getting this ready for you. I had to play through the entire game. And I made a little bit more progress here than I did in the North American version. I have completely maxed out my character's stats, well, except for luck. That's only at about 100. And I have made I've made a couple of, well, one extra piece of armor. Specifically for Tidus, he has, well, Tidus and Riku have the same thing. They have Auto Phoenix, Ribbon, Auto Haste, and Auto Protect. Ribbon is an ability exclusive to the international version of the game, and it can be customized on your armor for 99 Dark Matters. And I guess I don't have any Dark Matters right now. So, 99 Dark Matters are kind of hard to come by. That's the big reason why you don't want to sell the Dark Matters that you get from capturing 6 of every monster in the international version of the game, because you're going to need almost 200 of them. Ribbon makes you completely immune to almost every status effect. But I don't actually want to use that shield right now. I want to switch back to my normal shield, which is identical to what I was using in the North American version of the game. Now I want to spend a little while talking about the differences in these two versions of the game. So I've actually got open on my second monitor here a list straight off of GameFAQs. So let's start off. First up, probably one of the most significant differences is the sphere grid. In this version of the game, when you start the game, you get asked which sphere grid you want to use. The standard, which is almost identical to the sphere grid in the North American version, or expert. And this is the expert sphere grid. It's pretty significantly different from the North American version, actually. Obviously the shape is different. There's actually, I think, about 50 nodes less, so you actually gain less stats from going around the sphere grid, which makes the game kind of interesting. And perhaps the most significant thing is that the sphere grid is way more open. For example, Tidus starts right about here, and normally following his so-called normal path, you go kind of like around this way, down here, but at pretty much any time you could say take this little path over, and that leads you right over to Wakka's area. Or you could go over here, and all of a sudden, okay, that's still Wakka's area, but Auron's area is like right around here somewhere. Right, it's right here. Lulu starts here, and Yuna starts here, and there's absolutely nothing blocking them from going into each other's sphere grids. So, for example, right at the very beginning of the game, I had Lulu mosey on over here and learned Cura and Desuna, and Yuna came over here and learned the 4 basic elemental spells. So they had a little bit of a double dipping from the very beginning. Now, I've also done a lot of kind of playing around with the sphere grid to get the stats that I have. But I will talk about that more in a moment. I'm still talking about the changes between the versions of the game. So, new abilities. There are extra skills. Let's see. You can see in the middle there's extract power, extract mana, extract speed, and extract ability. And those function basically identical to the distiller items, in that you use one of them, or use the ability, and it forces the enemy to drop that type of sphere rather than whatever they would normally drop. There's also, is it a special? Yeah. At the bottom there you can see Pilfer Gil and Quick Pockets. Pilfer Gil is like Mug, except that you steal Gil instead of an item. And Quick Pockets lets you use items, but you use them with a much slower downtime in between. So just use items quicker. And the other thing, as I mentioned, you can't see it in this menu, but let's just go fight a dingo. Quick Hit is nowhere near as good as it is in the North American version. You can see that going from Mug to Quick Hit does not actually even change the order of the turn order at all. Quick Hit is still much faster than a normal attack, but it's nowhere near as fast as in the North American version, and it costs 36 MP instead of 12. So it's being hit pretty badly, and admittedly probably for the better, because Quick Hit is a little too powerful in its previous incarnation. The names of a lot of the sigils and crests are changed around. Different people have different ones. I didn't actually get all of the ultimate weapons for everyone in this version because I honestly do not care about Kimahri or Lulu in the least, and their ultimate weapons are really annoying to get. So there. Wakka has a little bit of tweaking on his overdrives. Now you can no longer just wait until the timer runs out to get an automatic 2 hits for the final one. And also, like other timed overdrives, the quicker that you finish the reels, you get a bigger damage bonus. So for example, normally with Tidus's overdrive, the quicker that you get the little bar in the middle, the more damage he does. And similarly for Auron, the quicker you complete his button pressing sequence, the more damage he does. So now the same thing just happens to apply to Wakka's, which is another incentive not to wait until the end of the timer. What else? Auron's Tornado now hits twice instead of once. Each hit does slightly less damage, but in the end of the day, you're probably going to end up doing a lot more damage that way. There's the damage modifier on Auron's Masamune has been changed around, so it looks like it's lower. Yeah, so his Masamune is significantly less powerful in the international version of the game. There's been some changes to the Aeons. For Anima, Oblivion now hits 16 times instead of 1. Each hit is quite weak, instead of having one really big hit, but as a result, you are going to end up doing way more damage. And the same for the Magus Sisters. They hit 6 times, but for a 1/6 of the damage. And Yojimbo just has some weird stuff with his compatibility. Oh, and there's one more ability that I didn't mention that's new. Where is it? There, at the bottom, right above Nabgil, there's Full Break, which can inflict all of the break statuses in one attack. And all the Aeons can learn all these new abilities as well, but that's kind of useless. And let's see, there's a bunch of new bosses, but we'll go over those in future episodes. There's a couple changes to some enemies that are kind of insignificant. In battle, when someone says something, it appears in the middle of the screen, rather than just having the voiceover. There is a configuration here for what language the text is in, English or Japanese. And the voiceovers are in Japanese by default. The way the SOS abilities work, like these things. Even though you kind of slumped over and your health went into the yellow at 50%, these things didn't come into effect until 25%. In the original Japanese version, this saves here wasn't there, but that was there in the North American version. There's a slightly different text for the battle font stuff for the damage. See, it's kind of more heavily outlined. Behemoth King's meteor attacks could be prevented by capturing them. The X and O buttons are changed, so X is cancel and circle is select. Well, that's pretty standard for Japanese games. Some stuff with Bride that I explained already. Apparently there was a typo in the North American version with an Al Bhed primer that's now fixed. There's a New Game Plus glitch that's not really a New Game Plus, but if you're interested in that, you can read about it. I don't really care. More stuff with Bribe. Okay, well, that's about it. There's some other stuff that was changed from the original Japanese version to the North American version, but that's about it, really. So, I didn't really plan for that to take all episode, but apparently there was more stuff than I thought. Anyways, more adventures in the international version next time on Let's Play Final Fantasy X. Catch you later.